What's up? This your boy Z the Real here, and I just want to talk about something that's starting to get very ridiculous, and this did happen for the third year in a row. Now, I'm happy that the NBA is back resumed, so this officially underway now. They're getting this. Each teams is given 3 scrimmages to play to warm everybody up. So basketball officially started 2 days ago. I think the Clippers opened up against the Orlando Magics, and I think even yesterday we've had the San Antonio Spurs play against the Portland Trailblazers. And in that game, I think this was the fourth quarter game. Greg Popovich once again lets his emotions get the best of him. He got pretty much thrown out. Yep, old Pop here. Pop, 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 pop. And this is disappointing because I don't know what they're going to do with him. But, I mean, you're 71 years old. If you're going to let you're going to let a game like that affect you, this is Greg Popovich. You got pretty much ejected out of a scrimmage game in a bubble. Okay, so you're not at your house, right? You got no home field advantage, so there's no complaining there. It's a mutual battleground, and you got ejected. I'm sorry to worry for Pop's health. That's me personally, man. I'm very concerned about Pop because Coach Pop he needs to step down. Okay, he really don't need to be in this bubble. If it was up to me, right? If I'm R.C. Buford, I would have just had Becky Hammond and Tim Duncan and this guy here, the other coach. You can't see him now, but I would just have those two, right, coach the San Antonio Spurs for the rest of the season. Because let's just be honest, right? I'm just gonna keep it 1,000. The Spurs is not going. They're not gonna reach the playoffs, and I said that before in my other video, in my Clipper video. This will be the first year in 22 years where we don't see the San Antonio Spurs in playoff contention at all. Okay, 22 years. That is officially an NBA record in my book. If I'm not mistaken, that's an NBA record set by this organization. Right? 22 years of contention. This will be the first time. Right? Now, I said this 2 years ago, right? When Popovich lost his wife. I'm like, the Spurs organization is done. When Kawhi Leonard decided to sit down and not play, the Spurs was done then. It was over. Right? Because they were never they couldn't beat teams like OKC and Golden State, right? And even Duncan, right? Tim Duncan knew when to let it go. Tim Duncan knew when to step aside and retire. Yeah, Ginobili and Parker, they continue to fall on, but Duncan knew it was time to go, right? Because Duncan was originally supposed to retire by his 20th season, but when he saw that they done lost to OKC, damn near got swept, right? And then to see Kevin Durant didn't leave after losing to Golden State, having them down 3-1, and then joining the Warriors. He said, no, my time is up. I'm not going to win no more championship. It's over. So Duncan knew when to call it quits. Popovich don't need to be coaching no more. You need to retire. Because already Tony Parker is gone, right? Even though Tucker Parker went to Charlotte last year, he's retired. Tony Parker's no longer in the league, and even Ginobili retired the year before that. There's no point in Popovich being around no more because his system is not going to work in this league. There's a reason why you see the Spurs struggling, even this season, right? Even this season, Popovich missed a whole lot of games. He didn't coach he didn't coach all 80 games. I'm just saying Popovich missed a lot of time as it is dealing with personal issues. And even then, even last year, his coaching style don't work. I'm sorry, man. Teams have figured out how to beat Popovich's system. Right? So this is why the Spurs are struggling. Why the Spurs are not back in championship contention like they should be. It was because, again, man, Greg Popovich coaching style is not going to work no more. Not against today's league, right? Against Doc Rivers, right? Against Frank Vogel, all these other coaches, it's not going to work no more. The teams have figured out how to stop it, right? You don't have Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker. There's no Robert Horry. You don't got Bruce Bowen, right? There's no Brent Barry, no Avery Johnson, right? Shane Elliott. Steven Jackson is none of those guys. And here's the other mistake Popovich has made too. Right? And this is why he's so frustrated because the starting lineup is not working. I'm sorry. Dante Murray and Derek Wright, those two guards were not ready to be starters. I'm sorry. That's just not working out. Right? DeMar DeRozan, and this is the problem with, before I get to DeMar DeRozan, the problem with Murray and Derek Wright, they're not Parker and Ginobili at all. Those are too big of a shoes to fill, and those guys weren't ready to be starters yet. They were still developing. Like when Parker and Ginobili was their ages, Parker Ginobili was actually taking the San Antonio Spurs to the Western Conference Finals every year with Duncan, right? When Parker and Ginobili was in their primes and they were around Murray and White's age, the Spurs was a team you normally would see knock off the Lakers. If you didn't see the Lakers in the finals, you saw the San Antonio Spurs. That's how good that was, right? And see, the problem is the starting lineups. Even DeMar DeRozan, right? DeMar DeRozan, I'm sorry to say this guy's not a superstar. He's just not. Not in that regard. I mean, yeah, he's technically he's the closest thing they have to a superstar. He's the only one they got. But DeRozan's not necessarily putting fans in the seats. People are not coming to see DeRozan. I'm sorry, man. It's been proven already, right? Look at the Toronto Raptors, especially after Kawhi Leonard left. They're still effective. DeMar DeRozan has basically shown that he's not the reason why the Raptors was he's one of the reasons why the Raptors were losing, why they couldn't get to the finals. Him and Dwayne Casey, that just wasn't working. DeMar DeRozan is not clutch. He's not a guy that's going to take over games, right? He's never going to be a Kobe Bryant. He's not Michael Jordan, right? He's not Vince Carter. He's not Tracy McGrady. He's none of those guys, okay? DeMar DeRozan's not even Klay Thompson. Like, he's not that type of guy. And maybe it's just, like I said, it's also the coaching, right? Like, Greg Popovich's system don't work for DeMar DeRozan. It just don't. I understand that you had to trade Kawhi Leonard for somebody, but that's just not working out. Because the way DeMar DeRozan, the way he likes to play, you have to put the ball in his hands a certain way. And ball movement don't work with DeRozan because he needs to be the main one scoring. No, man, you got to build your system around DeRozan. DeRozan is just like how you have to handle LeBron, right? You got to let LeBron handles most of the ball handling, right? The ball has to be put in LeBron James' hands. Same thing applies with DeRozan. Excuse me. It's like when Mike D'Antoni allows James Harden to run that the Rockets, right? D'Antoni allows James Harden to run the offense. The same thing needs to be said about DeRozan. And DeRozan's not a shooting guard neither. He's more of a small forward, right? When the Raptors drafted when Rosario Ujiri drafted Terrence Ross back in 2014, and they had Terrence Ross at the 2 and DeRozan at the 3, the Raptors was way more effective. So that's the other problem too, is it's the starting lineup. And this is the other mistake Popovich made, right? You put Derek White and Dante Murray over Patty Mills and Bellinelli. Patty Mills and Bellinelli should actually be your 2 starters. I'm going to be fat honest, okay? You don't put no younger 22, 23-year-olds over your 2 veterans. Because Patty Mills and Bellinelli, they was on the Spurs for pretty much 8-9 years. They're the last of the Spurs championship roster. Right? That roster, the Spurs team with Kawhi Leonard, Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan, right? With DeJuan Blair and Thiago Splitter, Danny Green. Yeah, Patty Mills and Bellinelli is a part of that roster. Okay? So these guys already know where the ball is supposed to be. They know Greg Popovich's system. They know how the ball is supposed to be placed. They know how to run that floor. Especially Patty Mills. Patty Mills is supposed to be Tony Parker's successor. Right? Tony Parker took Patty Mills under his wing. You know what I'm saying? Parker was very close to Patty Mills. Patty Mills can shoot that ball. Right? He can dribble. He's quick, right? And there's no excuses because Patty Mills is the same height as Kyle Lowry and Chris Paul. Right? Chris Paul and Kyle Lowry are all-star guards. Right? Same with Van Vliet. He's just as big as those guys. But the fact that you got 2 guys, you got 2 young men who weren't ready yet. I'll be honest, man. Dante Murray and Derek White, they're boring. They're not that exciting at all. They're just not, man. They don't have enough in them. They don't have enough drive. None of those guys are going to take the Spurs to no championship. Those are not guards you start. They're not ready to start. Right? Dante Murray and Derek White, they're not Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Right? They're not Russell Westbrook or James Harden. Those guys are not even Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum. They're none of those guys. They're not Luka Doncic. Okay? You got teams who got backcourts who ain't even in the playoffs that's more exciting than they are. Right? I'm just gonna keep it real. What the Sacramento Kings got going on with De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield, those guys put up way more numbers than Dante Murray and Derek White. Yeah, Dante Murray will give you a game every now and then. Yeah, every now and then he'll score 25 points, but he doesn't do it consistently. No, none of those guys are clutch. They have no X factor ability in them at all. They can never be Tony Parker and Ginobili. And for Patty Mills and Bellinelli, they've been there as long as they did, right? Have all this experience with them. They know how to run. They would know where to pass, right? They know how Greg Popovich likes to run his team. For Popovich not to put those two in and start them, dude, it don't make sense. If it was up to me, if I was Popovich, I would have Bellinari. I have Patty Mills and Bellinari at the 1 and 2. Because remember, Patty Mills is only 31 years old and Bellinari is 34. Yeah, Bellinari's the same age as LeBron, right? So he still has at least 4 more good years left, right? Antonio Parker Ginobili was winning championships with Tim Duncan when they was around those ages. So there's no excuses. But yeah, I would have Patty Mills and Bellinari at the 1 and 2. DeRozan would be at the 3. Rudy Gay at the 4. And LaMarcus at the 5th position. He'd be the center. And even LaMarcus Aldridge, right? I said this before. They got to get rid of Aldridge. Let Aldridge walk at the end of the season. He don't need to be there no more. That guy's done. They wasted time signing Aldridge. Aldridge did absolutely nothing since he got on San Antonio. Right? And maybe that's the problem. Aldridge came in there when Tim Duncan was still playing. This dude got lazy. Right? Kawhi Leonard pretty much carried Aldridge that whole time. That's another reason why Kawhi Leonard wanted to leave San Antonio. Because none of those other players were stepping up. Remember, how the Spurs got to the Western Conference Finals in 2017 was all through Kawhi Leonard. And even Jonathan Simmons was playing way more effective than Aldridge. Okay? Aldridge was better when he was in Portland because more was expected of him. Scouts didn't allow him to be lazy, right? When he was paired up with Damian Lillard, right, Wesley Matthews, and even Brandon Roy before then with Nicholas Batum, he was a lot better player. It's like when Popovich got to San Antonio, he became lazy. He figured Pop was going the ball. He figured San Antonio was just good pass the ball, right? They got a good effective system. I'm just gonna be lazy. I'm not gonna play the way I'm supposed to be playing. That's LaMarcus' mindset. He's just too lazy. And then and plus two, man, time is passing by, right? You got Luka Doncic, you got Giannis, right? Ben Simmons, Eric Pascal, right? Karl-Anthony Towns. These guys have passed LaMarcus Aldridge up. He's no longer that forward no more. He's no longer that big man. And even LaMarcus is 35 years old, right? He's becoming an old man now. His time is up. No, this Spurs need a brand new team. They should have been tanking. They might as well should have tanked. Because I feel the Spurs, they need a young big man, right, to turn this team around. They need them a Zion Williamson, right, a DeAndre Ayton, a Joel Embiid, a Nicholas. They need a Nikolai Jokic, right? They need one of those guys to come in. This team was built on power forwards and centers, right? When the Spurs got David Robinson and Tim Duncan there, that team became a championship team. That began the championships dynasty. Yes, Ginobili and Parker, right? Steven Jackson, right? Robert Horry, right? Dwayne Bowe, all those guys, right? Yeah, I think they had Bowens. Excuse me. Yeah, when they had Bowens and they had Steven Jackson and they had Avery Johnson, those were great guys. I'm not going to take nothing from them. But again, Tim Duncan, right? Big Timmy and Dave Robinson, those guys were the big men that pretty much led this team. This team was built off those guys. Right? Fundamental basketball. That was the epitome of Tim Duncan. He's the king of fundamentals. Just classic. So honestly, if it was up to me, man, I would tell Greg Popovich to step down. It's time for him to resign. Right? You're 71 years old. And I'll be honest, man, Greg Popovich's mental health is not that good. When you start reaching your 70s, this is when your mental health start taking a decline, right? A person start developing Alzheimer's, the dementia start kicking in. They start losing memory. They, you know what I'm saying? They're not the same the person anymore. I'm not saying this is Popovich, but yeah, when a person reaches their 70s, yeah, your health start deteriorating. Your mind is not like it used to be anymore. And this is Greg Popovich already had a rough 2 years because this man lost his wife back in 2018. And even last year, man, and even this year, this man has been going through personal off the court issues that he had to take care of. This man didn't miss a significant amount of time. Greg Popovich missed like a whole month already, even going into before the COVID-19, before the virus hit. The man was missing some time, and Tim Duncan and Becky Hammond had to step up. Now this brings me to the point of this video. Tim Duncan needs to be the head coach of this team. I'm going to be just flat honest with you, all right? It's time for Tim Duncan to be the brand new head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. It's time for the Spurs to have a brand new identity. They need to have a brand new system in place. I commend Greg Popovich for having a wonderful career. You had a bit of a run, but his time is up. Because it's just like when Phil Jackson got swept by the Dallas Mavericks, right? Rick Carlisle finally figured out how to stop the triangle. You know what I'm saying? This is when they had Kobe, Gasol, right? Andrew Bynum. You still had Sasha Vujacic, Lamar Odom. They still had the team they had when they defeated Boston the year before. But when they had Kidd, Terry, Nowinski, Tyson Chandler, and Shawn Marion, they figured out how to stop the Lakers. And Phil Jackson knew his time was up. He knew it was over when he got swept. He said, this is not working no more. I got swept. I got embarrassed. It's time for me to step aside, and I'm completely done with coaching. If the Spurs don't make the playoffs in the bubble, especially in the scrimmage, you know what I'm saying, in the next 2 months, it's time for Popovich to step down. And that's just be best for him because, again, my concern is this is too much stress, man. This basketball is too stressful on Greg Popovich. This is why he keeps getting ejected. Right? The man is going through too much. And Greg Popovich really ain't got nothing else to prove anyway, right? He don't. The man got 5 NBA championships. The Spurs have been in playoff contention for 22 years. He's already a first ballot Hall of Famer. But let Timmy here take over the team. If not, then even Becky Hammond. Now, for those of you who don't know what this woman is here, this is Becky Hammond. She's most notably known for her women's basketball, her WNBA career, where she played for the New York Liberty when she got drafted in '99 into 2006, and she's also played for the San Antonio women's basketball team, the San Antonio Stars, and she was on the Stars from around the same time when the Spurs won their last 3 NBA championships. So basically, when San Antonio played against LeBron James when he was in Cleveland, and then in his Miami Heat years when they won 3 NBA championships, she was on the San Antonio Stars. And if I'm not mistaken, she also participated in All-Star Weekend. I think this is around 2008 or 2009. We had the intergender challenge. It'd be 1 female basketball player from the WNBA with 2 men representing the NBA team. So she actually participated in All-Star Weekend. The woman knows her basketball. Okay? I would let her be Eddie 2.0. Now, for you young folks, for those who don't know who Eddie was, there's an NBA movie that Whoopi Goldberg played where she was the main actor. And she played a fan that had season tickets to the New York Knicks, right? She loved the New York Knicks. And the New York Knicks wind up getting a new owner, and she wind up becoming the head coach. And it was all about her turning the New York Knicks around into a contender. That movie had Malik Sealy, Rick Fox when he was young, right? And a bevy of other NBA players. I think that movie is on YouTube, right? You can watch it. It's a fun movie. It's one of my favorite basketball movies, right? Behind Space Jam. But yeah, man, I would let her be the Russian Eddie, right? Let her be Eddie 2.0. Let her be the new female head coach. It would definitely be interesting, right? And it will also open the door for Lisa Leslie to possibly take a coaching position, right? I wouldn't mind that because it's not like they're not playing amongst men. They're coaching them, right? We've seen that before. The NFL is just now starting to do it now. But Greg Popovich needs to sit down. That's just me. If I'm R.C. Buford, if I'm the owner, I'm going to have a conversation with Popovich as soon as this season's over, right? Because, again, the Spurs they're not going to reach the playoffs. Let's be honest. They're not going to beat the New Orleans Pelicans, right? With the way Ingram is playing. Ingram is finally an all-star, right? You have Zion Williamson. Lonzo Ball has become a better basketball player. He has a jumper now, legitly. You got Josh Hart coming off the bench. They got squad. Even old man Redick, right? As old as Redick is, he puts up way more points than most of the San Antonio Spurs players they have on that roster. Right? JJ Redick is more clutch, you know what I'm saying, in prime time than those guys are, right? Let's just be honest. You're not going to beat the Portland Trailblazers, not with Damian Lillard and McCulloch fully healthy. And now you got Nurkic back in the rotation. They got Trevor Reeves and Carmelo Anthony, right? Hassan Whiteside, though the Portland Trailblazers are still deep. Skiles know how to get back in contention, right? He knows how to go roll. And then even the Memphis Grizzlies. This Spurs team struggled against the Grizzlies. With the way Ja Morant is going, Ja Morant is like the Derrick Rose of that team. Without a doubt, man. I told y'all about the Grizzlies. Right? That Grizzlies team is like the one Villanova was coaching back in 2007 through 2009. Right? When they swept the Miami Heat and then they took Boston to 7 games. Ja Morant is that guy. And then you got the Dallas Mavericks who you're not going to beat. Right? Luka Doncic, Seth Curry. Seth Curry was 6 for 6 just yesterday against the Lakers. Right? Seth is starting to play like his older brother Steph. Seeing him now he got the headband. You know, he got longer hair, but he was looking like Steph Curry out there on that court. Tim Hardaway Jr., you're not going to beat those guys. Right? I'll just be honest. The Spurs are just there to be there. Just like the Sacramento Kings have a better chance with Luke Walton coaching them than Greg Popovich has with the Spurs team, right? Even the Phoenix Suns. The Spurs and Suns are just there just to compete. Right? They're just there to help the Pelicans, Trailblazers, and Grizzlies basically get enough wins to reach the playoffs, right? They're not gonna make it in. And that was the controversy already, because there was players who currently got teams that's on teams that's seeded, right? That's already clinched, that's saying that why are they there? That was already controversy before the bubble started. Then you got teams that's not gonna make the playoffs that's gonna be taking up TV time. Okay? No, the Spurs are done. They need to start completely over. They need to tank the next 2 years, and they need to just work on player development. Because they need a big man. They don't have a big man center. They need to find somebody that can replace Tim Duncan, right? Because LaMarcus Aldridge, you got to get rid of him. He got to go, right? Yeah, you might as well keep DeRozan around because he's the only one you got, even though he's not necessarily selling tickets, right? Nobody's buying his jersey or going out the way to buy no DeRozan jersey. Nothing against him. He's just not that good of a player as far as being a team leader. And again, as I said, they just got to find that next guy. And they're going to have to do it through the next 2 years of getting first-round draft picks, right? Honestly, I would actually trade LaMarcus for at least a draft pick. Technically, DeRozan if you want to go that route, but LaMarcus Aldridge is at least worth that, right? He's at least worth a draft pick. And as far as Rudy Gay, I would love to see Rudy Gay have a chance to at least compete for a championship. Rudy Gay's not going to win a championship on the San Antonio Spurs team because the problem with Rudy Gay going to the Spurs, he went to the Spurs when they were pretty much on the decline, right? Rudy Gay went to the Spurs team when Tim Duncan was already gone, right? Parker and Ginobili was already pretty much towards their retirement. They were already out. They were already out the door. And Kawhi didn't want to play no more. So that was just it, man. Rudy Gay came here at the wrong place at the wrong time. And his issue is he almost had the same problems Vince Carter. And again, man, I know Vince Carter retired, right? Vince Carter didn't get a chance to reach the finals. Vince Carter's problem, he was on too many under 500 teams that weren't going nowhere, right? The Dallas Mavericks, the Atlanta Hawks just recently, right? Even the Sacramento Kings. Same thing with Rudy Gay. He wasted his time on too many teams that weren't going nowhere. Right? This is Rudy Gay was also on the Raptors when they weren't nothing. And he was like 5 years over there with the Kings with DeMarcus Cousins and Rajon Rondo. That went nowhere. And now he recently got on the Spurs team. No, I would love to see Rudy Gay either go to the Lakers or Clippers. Right? Philadelphia 76ers could use him. Even the Denver Nuggets with Paul Millsap. You put Rudy Gay on that Nuggets team, they'll for sure be a contender for the championship. They could possibly get to the finals, right, with his ability, right? Even the Portland Trailblazers have a number of veterans over there, right? Or even going to the Dallas Mavericks, as Rick Carlisle loves to coach older guys like Rudy Gay. But I can't see Rudy Gay on the Spurs team anymore. I just don't, man. I don't want to see him go through that. Like, you're not going to win no championship no more. Rudy Gay is getting older now. He needs to be able to compete for a ring. And I like Rudy Gay. He's one of my favorite forwards, but I don't want to see him wasting his time away on this team. Don't go out like Vince Carter did. Okay? But, y'all, that's pretty much the video. But, no, for Pop to keep getting injected like that, that's embarrassing. You too old for that. You're 71 years old. Right? You're pretty much a grandpa now. Greg Popovich is old enough to be everybody in the league's grandfather. That's how old he is. Okay? Again, you gave me a wonderful childhood. I've enjoyed seeing Pop, you know what I'm saying, coach, but it's time. It's done. It's time to move on. The Spurs are in need of a brand new identity, right? They need to go through a total makeover, right? I would even change the logo around. I'll do something different for the Spurs, man. The whole team needs to they need spring cleaning pretty much. But again, they need a new head coach, right? Whether it be Becky Hammond or Tim Duncan, right? If Tim Duncan, me personally, Tim Duncan would be my main candidate. Just because, man, like, this is just Tim Duncan who led the Spurs to all 5 of their NBA championships. Well, actually 6 NBA championships. They're 5 for 1, right? I will let Tim Duncan take over because he's already been coaching them anyway since Pop been gone. But Becky Hammond is also just as capable of taking over, right? Because she again, that woman knows how to coach, man. She knows her basketball, right? Yeah, she represents the women, but she can coach. And if it's not those two, then hire somebody out of college or give Mark Jackson the job. But they need a brand new head coach, they especially need a brand new playbook, right? RC Beavers the Spurs front office need to develop a new playbook because Greg Popovich style of coaching, that's not gonna work no more. Right, you're done. It's just like George Karl when he went out on a bad note. I hate to see Popovich going out on a bad note, but it's just it. He's not going to be able to retire with no ring. I'm sorry, you're not Bill Belichick. And that's the problem too, man. People have called him, compared to the Bill Belichick, he let that guy to his head. No, you're not in the same boat. Bill Belichick had Tom Brady, right? Belichick got 6 rings. Belichick has been to 8 NBA NFL Super Bowls. Greg Popovich has only been to 6. Okay? Not in the same league. But anyway, folks, that's the video, man. Y'all tell me who y'all feel should be the San Antonio Spurs new head coach. Either Tim Duncan, Becky Hammond, or it should be somebody on the outside looking in. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.